Welcome to the Richmond Film Network podcast, your all-access pass to the world of independent cinema. Each week, we go beyond the credits and sit down with the creatives who turn vision into reality. Tune in weekly to find out who's on the RFN pod.
Welcome to the Richmond Film Network podcast. I'm Lisa Giles, and today on the pod is classically trained actor and playwright turned film director, Antony Raymond. Antony, welcome to the podcast.
Great to be here.
Thank you also for sharing your debut film, Sleeping with Gus, with us. We're excited to have you in Richmond for the Virginia premiere. This being your film debut, but you're no stranger to storytelling. So tell us about your journey from the New York theater scene to the world of film.
Wow. Oh, okay. So my journey. Well, I started acting, as a kid, and then after high school, I moved to New York City, just from Jersey, so it was like just a puddle jump. But I got into a theater company, and we were doing Midsummer Night's Dream. I think I did like 200 performances, playing almost every character. And while we were in that company, there was an opportunity to direct another play, and it was called Hamlet 2, and it was written by the writer who wrote Saved by the Bell, who created Saved by the Bell. So it was this Hamlet parody. And while I was reading the script, I was like, I think I could write something better than this. So, or more funny or more modern, maybe not better. I don't really like the word better, but so that just kind of got me into playwriting and then directing my own stuff. And that was like a 20-year journey. And when COVID happened, I just thought a lot of my friends that I came up with in the theater were doing really well in film. And, Robert Eggers is one of them. We waited tables together on 6th Avenue at this vegan restaurant for years. We're still great friends. And watching his career take off, it was like, I'd like to take a stab at this too. And he was very encouraging. And he said, you want to keep doing this theater thing, but why don't you just grab a camera and get a bunch of actors and go out to the woods and make something? And it kind of was inspiring. And I said, maybe I'll do that. And so I already had a handle on talking to actors and producing and obviously writing and directing. So I said, let's see. It's a different. It's a lot different than theater. So I was like, let's see if I can teach myself this.
So tell me about some of the differences from theater to film. What maybe were some things that were difficult and what came naturally?
Well, when I first started writing screenplays or shorts, I always overwrote. And with cinema, you can say a lot with one shot. And as I like to give this example. You have, in the theater, you have two people who are interested in each other, and you have to create like poetry or dialogue, something that's interesting, that's layered, that the audience can connect with, subtext, and oh wow, that guy, he really likes her, but you're doing it with language. And in cinema, you can have the female character play with the stem of her wine glass, and then just cut to his eyes. And right there, that's it. You got everything, And I love that. I love using the language of cinema to tell a story. And somebody like me, who I talk I can't even catch up with myself when I talk, So it's great practice. It's like, how do I say this without anything, without having the actor speak? And I really enjoy that difference.
So of all the stories that you could have told for your first film, you landed on Sleeping with Gus, and the log line: in a sleek, surreal restaurant teeming with flamboyant patrons, Gustavo, a soft-spoken young man, unwittingly becomes the center of a seductive and mysterious web of intrigue. How did that idea come to be the subject of your first film?
Well, I honestly had the location, and so I had a free location. And so I was like, what's the most interesting, human, simple, truthful story I could tell that will resonate? Stories that wag my tail are always about, what's going on inside us, the universal language of being a person on this planet at this time. And so it just, it started with the location, and I try to just get messy when I write, and I try to let the character or the story do me rather than me trying to force it. And there was a lot of rewrites, but this is what came out of it. I can't even remember exactly when the muse or the light bulb sparked, and it was like, oh, I want it to be about a busboy, and I want it to be a fever dream. It's just kind of it just kind of evolved. I was trying to think about that this morning. Actually, I was like, well, when did I decide, I was going to be about him, and when it was going to be about longing and connection? And I think it just kind of just evolved naturally into that.
Are there any similarities with you and Gus?
Well, I think for me, I think longing and wanting to be, wanting connection and wanting to be a part of the group are qualities in all of us. And so absolutely, I think that we all have those moments where we feel like isolated and we want to be, we want connection. And I like to take a feeling like that and like turn the dial up. And I was like, well, who's most isolated, right? Is when you're in a foreign country, when you're in when you're doing something and it's so brave as moving yourself from your home into new surroundings. I imagine that that feeling and that longing is magnified.
So to explain,
or intensified.
So to explain that, Gus is a character from another country trying to find a place in a foreign environment. So he's the outsider in this situation.
Correct. Yeah, and I feel like we all have those daydreams of being successful or being lifted up in a sense.
I'm curious, as an observer in being the producer of the film festival, and being a judge of many different festivals, we tend to look at film a little bit differently than the average viewer. So as I'm watching and I'm looking at the two, there's the dream world and then there's the reality world. And I'm wondering, okay, how did he do that? So were they two locations, or was it the same location and it was just?
No, it was the same location. What I did was I shot the dream world in the speakeasy downstairs part of the restaurant. And I used like a lot of creative filters on the camera. I remember spending a month just researching filters off the lenses. And then we also changed the aspect ratio, I think, a little bit too. But when we went to the reality part, I shot it in the kitchen and I shot it upstairs and the main part of the restaurant. And I stripped all the filters off the camera and to try to just get a sense that this world is a little bit more gritty. Mm-hmm. It's not as sleek. It's not as sexy. Mm-hmm. This is what reality is, and it worked. There's actually a shot at the end that nobody catches where he's in the hallway and the table from his fantasy is actually behind her, but nobody seems to catch that. I was trying to be really subtle about it, and I think I got too subtle.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a sucker for a pretty film, and this definitely is one. And that very specific visual tone that you achieve. Tell me about your cinematographer and the collaboration with.
Yeah, my cinematographer is incredible. His name's Tony Kuhn. He and I, this is our first thing, obviously my first film. So it's our first project together, but we're about to go into pre-production for the second short. He's incredible. I met him through my line producer and we just kind of hit it off. He likes to experiment as much as I do. We communicate really well. It's kind of funny. He only has one eye. He wears an eye patch. It's to have a cinematographer who he has half the tools and is able to see things. I'll tell him, like, I think let's think about doing this. And he goes, into his corner and he figures it out in like a minute. He's like, I think he's like that. Sometimes we'll piggyback. Be like, I like what you're thinking, but I think this is the shot. We'll go look at the monitor, and it's a really great collaboration, a bromance. I love him. I want to work with him for the rest of my life. I hope we shoot, 15 movies together.
Well, similarly, I could say the same thing about the sound. The sound design is so amazing and so fit.
Oh, great.
So well timed. What about your sound designer and how that process went?
Well, yeah, it was Graham Carpenter. He's from England. I forget the name of the studio, but he has his day jobs in this really great studio in Union Square. And he was like, yeah, just come on by. He really plugged away at it. And again, the sound for me was the most difficult part because, again, coming from the theater, that's something that you never work with.
Yes.
That was the hardest thing for me. And the reason why I'm so excited about shooting the next one is because now I have a little bit in my back pocket, regarding because I went into this film, I didn't even think about sound. I was like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna map out my day, make sure we make our days, feed everybody, make sure that the actors know what I'm looking for, that I'm getting the shots, that I've dreamed of. I'm thinking about all that. I didn't think about what sound was going to be. I just made sure to hire the right guys. And I was like, you're going to get coverage, right? We're going to get as much coverage as we can. And they're like, yeah, don't worry. You got we had 6, 7 microphones on this thing. So we knew we were going to get the coverage, but I didn't think ahead of time what I wanted the sound design to be like. I didn't even know I was going to put drums in it. And I let, again, just like when in the writing process, you let the characters tell you where this is going. And I'm rereading the script, and I'm like, Gus wants to be a drummer. That's what he wants. That's what he pictures himself. He pictures himself in a band playing the drums. And I was like, that's the score. That's what it has to be. And so that idea didn't happen until we already shot the film. And that's why, again, another beautiful thing about making films is just all the wonderful problems that you have to deal with all the time, and those happy accidents that come out of them. You kind of it's that, you make plans and God laughs. That's kind of a film set. The sound is such an important aspect, and I didn't really learn that until I made this film. I was lucky to have Graham kind of show me all the things that you can do in post-production. And now going into the next one, I'm going to use him again. And the next one, I get to think ahead of time on what I want to do, so I can set that up, before we get on set. I can start thinking about that.
So, with the budget of $18,000, how do you prioritize those resources, especially when aiming for such a stylized?
I had a really great line producer named James Abrams. Without him, I couldn't have done this, because he was the one who was like, I think you could do it like this, and it would only cost you this much. And so when he would tell me a number, I would pick up extra shifts at work and just try to hit that number. I paid for everything myself out of my own pocket, just working hard, using savings, playing the stock market, whatever I could do. The stock market really was a big help. And so it would get up in the morning and look at the market and what's the best way I could, in the next month, I could double this and make sure that we have enough to pay the crew. And I just made sure that once I knew what it would cost, I would go to work and try to find it myself. I didn't want to use a crowd campaign, because I figure I could save that for something bigger down the road. So yeah, without James, basically James found me Tony Kuhn and DP, and he found me another great asset. Our AD was an all-around Johnny on the spot was Jeremy Cohen, and he, talking with him, was like, I know a great editor. And just dominoed like that.
Were there any particular surprises that came with directing your first film?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Everything. I didn't even know when to say actions. It's just this was trial by fire. I remember the first day being a little nervous, the first 3-4 hours, because I had the restaurant, but the restaurant has to open. So I had to shoot early and make sure that we were out of there by the time the kitchen staff gets there and starts, making noise and doing their thing. So I was pressed for time. So I had my game plan, I was prepared, and I think I almost went a little too fast on the first day because I was so nervous. We started at 5 a.m. and we had to be done by 3 p.m.
Okay.
Each day. And there was the first was, I think we did 4 days and then a pickup a month later. I remember the first day being shaky, and then by day 2, it was really settled in, and I just really started focusing on making sure that the actors were comfortable and they were able to give me what we were looking for. But yeah, there was always surprises. We were shooting, and then all of a sudden the compressor for the refrigerator in the pizza shop next door went off, And, now you have this hum in the background, so you have to figure out how to shoot around that. All the little things that I think go with every film. Yeah.
Were there any particular scenes that were more challenging than others?
Just basically having four people talk at a table is always really hard to shoot. And, you have to really prepare for that and to make sure you get the right coverage. And I still didn't get like the coverage that I wanted, but luckily you could edit a film and you could piece things together. And after a few months of doing that, we found something that we liked. But yeah, that's always really tricky, and making sure that everybody sounds good. And I'll tell you what the most fun thing to shoot was the dance sequence. That was really great. So I would like to shoot a sequence like that every day for the rest of my life. It was a lot of fun, having actors play and dance and turning up music and getting the disco lights in there. And let's just all just have fun now. I made sure to save that for the end of the day.
So you've worked with many characters on stage. Is the theater, is that where you got the actors from?
No, I just sent out a breakdown on
Okay.
Actors Access. Yeah, we sent out a breakdown, and I saw a lot of people for Gus. A lot. I needed somebody sweet like Ro to play that role. Because with the sex in the film, I didn't want him to be. The sex wasn't about like being like a predator and having like I want everybody to want me. It was more just like a symbolism for like I want to be desired. I want people to like me just as I am, and I wanted somebody that was sweet and that kind of evoked that. And so it took a long time to find him, but thank God we did, because I think he's tremendous and he's really great in the film. He's a great actor. I knew Amy and I knew Alyssa. I knew the girls from working with them previously or meeting through networking events. And then the other guys, again, Actors Access set out a breakdown. When we just saw people, we taped people, and we tried to find the right color palette. We tried to find the right, like, when I say color palette, I feel like a composition is like a painting, right? And so it's like I wanted everybody to kind of, just like feel right and sound right together, their voices and the way they appeared on screen. I just wanted it to feel like a painting rather than individual characters, like that they all belong there together. So it was really about mixing and matching and finding the right four people. I think we did okay, and I really loved working with these guys.
So do you see yourself continuing in film, or
Oh yeah.
how do you balance the theater life with the film life?
Yeah, I think it's going to be theater for kicks from now on.
Oh,
Just for fun. I'm directing a play in September in the East Village, a really cool play, and I'm really stoked. I'm working with two fantastic actors, and we're going to have a great time. It's going to be like a workshop production at a festival. But hey, like it's 20 years of trying to corral people to see a play at a specific place at a specific time. I'm like exhausted. And the world is changing, and we have entertainment at our fingertips. And so like theater is a big outing, and it's tough to get people to come and see your work. It's like, what have you done? Well, I had this play last month that was over here. It was really great. You should have seen it. As opposed to like, what have you done? And it's like, here you go. I'll just, you got your drop, I'll Dropbox this in on you. Watch it at your own convenience. Watch it at 3 a.m. on your covers if you want, and then it's great to get those texts like 3 weeks later. Hey, finally saw your film. It was great. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And I'll never be able to do that with the theater ever. So I can't put the theater in somebody's iPhone, but I do. And I want to get my work out there. I think I have a lot to say. I love storytelling. And I feel like, film's the way to do that. If you want to get your stuff out there, just it's a lot more difficult to get the money together and get the people together and organize it. But it's so worth it, when you got something in the can. And, look, I'm sitting here talking to you right now. How great is that? I'm just talking to you about my film, and you're in Richmond, I'm in New York City, and we're discussing this thing, I think that's awesome. And I think that's what film can do. It can bring people together and expand your horizons. I can't wait to come down to Richmond, go to the museums, hang out at the festival, watch the film. It's going to be awesome. And that wouldn't be possible if, we didn't, spend that 18K on this little movie of ours.
So this just came out. You finished, I think, in January. Is that right?
Yes.
In January. It's July. The film screens with us in August. And you're already talking about just just like most creative people, you're already talking about the next project.
I know.
So you have all these stories to tell. So what can you give me a sneak peek into the next story, Antony?
Yeah. I was just thinking, I haven't seen Sleeping with Gus since the last festival, so I'm save it to when I come down. I want it to be a little fresh. But it's like I'm working on something about grief and about loss. The next film is about that. And it started with the location. I got the location first, and I'm writing around that. And it's about a man who's dealing with the loss of someone, and sort of like the emotions that come with that, the anger and the frustration that comes with that. And we're going to shoot it in black and white. We're going to shoot it in color. I'm really, really, really excited about the sound mix for this one. It takes place in a bustling environment, and I wanted the sound to be as stressful and as tense as the inner workings of this character. And so really, really stoked to bring in the crew again and tell another story about just a guy who's trying to figure things out.
So you're using the same crew?
Yeah, using the same people. I think we made a pretty film. I think it's definitely serviceable. I like it. My friends like it. Like, why change? Let's see if we could keep this teamwork going and all grow together. It's like a little film family. I like I said, I really loved working with Tony, and I could work with him on just about everything I do from here on out.
So what's the festival journey been like so far for Gus, and what is the trajectory?
Again, I'm so brand new to this, and I'm learning as I go. I've submitted to the festivals that I feel might like a story like this. I also submitted to festivals, kind of blindly, just like, hey, like I'm just trying to put it out there, get some exposure. We got into 3 in New York City so far. Yours will be our first outside of New York City, and hopefully, a few more will reach out, and we'll go from there. I really don't know. I'm trying my best to navigate this world responsibly, so that for me, like, I want the actors and I want the crew. I want everybody to get something out of this, and hopefully they will. And I hope they have already. And then we'll just build on it. And we'll see. We'll just keep telling stories and see where it takes us.
It feels, when I first watched it feels like a very New York story to me.
Yeah.
So, and bringing that to Richmond, which is a very different place.
Yes.
But
I was just there last month in Richmond.
What were you here for?
I was passing through. I went on a road trip. I wanted to clear my head. And I drove down south, and I'm a big history buff, so I went to see like a ton of Civil War battlefields and museums, and I wanted to come through Richmond, and I spent like a day and a night in Richmond. Great.
Wonderful.
I can't wait to come back. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Can't wait to go back. Yeah.
We can't.
So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So having this what I just feel is not necessarily a New York story, because I think the themes are universal. I think anybody can relate to the themes, but just the mood, I guess. What do you hope that a Richmond audience takes away from this?
Well, I really feel like the emotions of Gus is universal. So I'm hoping that anybody who sees this film, that aspect resonates with them. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the most important thing to me, is that a character connects with people watching it in some way. And, sometimes, audiences, this hasn't happened yet with Gus, and I'm sure it will as I speak to more people who've seen the film. But, audiences will tell you things about your writing or things about your story that you didn't even see when you wrote it. And that's the most magical thing, when an audience tells you, hey, you know what I picked up from that? And you're like, whoa. You're like, awesome, I didn't realize that, and that's so cool that I did that. But not really. It's just it's a happy accident. Like, it's a pleasant surprise, and it's one of the coolest feelings when it connects to someone in a way that you don't expect. So again, I think, you put your stuff out there, you put your work out there, and you let it go, and you let people decide, I don't want to ever write a story or ever direct a film that like is trying to like hammer an idea onto the audience or like be like, this is what this is about and you need to understand it. I want to tell a story that feels human, and they take it and however they want, however they want to. It's a piece of art, and you let it go, and then you move on, and you go do your next thing, and you take the things that worked and didn't work, and you do your next thing, and you let the audience just experience it without having to control them. And that's my, and that's so when I come down to Richmond, like however they take it, awesome. I hope they dig it, and if they don't, that's okay too. But I hope they'll buy me a drink when they tell me that they didn't like it.
I'm sure we're gonna love it. I'm sure we're gonna.
Oh, great.
So if you could describe the film in just 3 words.
Wow.
What
Put me on the spot.
Words be?
3 words.
Either 3 separate words.
Got it. I got it. I think I got the first 2. I'm just thinking about it. So I'm going to say sleek, honest. Let's call it hopeful.
Okay.
I guess that that those 3 words will change throughout the day. So I look back on this interview. Were those the right 3 words? I think I say sleek because I think it's beautifully shot. I think Tony did a great job. I think it's honest because I think it's an honest interpretation of a character or person. And when I say hopeful, I hope people like it.
Well, there's some hopeful elements within the story.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you said hopeful, what I thought about was that last shot.
Yes, that's exactly why I did. It's just like that. He makes a decision at that last moment of the film. Yeah. I don't know what that decision is, but he makes one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give it away because it's such a moment. But the last shot is everything.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you got to end the film right.
All right, so I'm going to move into some quick lightning round type questions.
Cool, great.
Give me 1 word to describe Gus.
Innocent.
Film that changed the way that you see storytelling.
In the Mood for Love.
Tell me about what was that?
Well, it's Wong Kar-wai. It's a film from 2000, and I got it hanging on my wall. It's a beautiful story. It's told non-chronologically. The way it's shot, it's just awesome. There's others obviously, but that was the first one that popped in my head.
Okay. I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's great film. I think the New York Times just did a list of top 100 leader about. I think it was number 4. So it's very well liked. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
People in my world and I have had lots of discussion around that 100 list.
I know. We had a big debate, my buddies and I, at the bar, and we went through each one, but it was so much fun. I have this theory. I think it should be 100 notable films. I don't like these countdowns, because it's so subjective, and it's like, why do we have these are the top 10? Like, just say these are the 100 films that people like the most. But that's just me. Yeah,
it's a good conversation starter. I didn't do 100. I did my top 35 and I posted them to my Instagram.
Oh, did you? I got to check it out. I want to see. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm stoked. Yeah.
Okay. What was the most used word on set during Sleeping with Gus?
What was the most used word on set? I don't know. Probably lunch. Or you know what? I'll say the most used phrase on set was, Tony, we have some more time. You could do another.
Oh wow!
I just like to keep we're going, and it's like, calm down, like get an extra one. Why not? And I was like, okay, if we have to, but I know which one I'm using. So the next one I'll shoot a little extra the next time around. Yeah.
Well, that's a very good problem to have.
Yeah, it is, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dream actor you'd cast in your next film
Oh wow,
or
dream
actor.
actor I would cast in my next film. Uh, I don't know. I like I don't know. I like so many actors, but to work with like obviously to work with like Daniel Day-Lewis would be really great.
Mm,
Work with the best, work with the ones that'll challenge you the most
mm,
and help you grow. Kate Blanchett,
mm,
the
mm.
best of the best. Kate Blanchett is probably like if I ever got to work with her, I'd be all right. I could retire the next day.
Anthony, you're speaking my language. Those are two
Yeah,
of my favorites as well.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and I can probably guess the answer to this just from based on what I've seen of what you've submitted. But one scene from Sleeping with Gus that you'd freeze frame and hang on your wall.
Oh yeah, I would say the shot where they lean in on him.
Okay.
Yeah, we ended up using that. Again, like just like setting up shots like that just have it like just have an emotional impact without saying a word, right? That was really cool. Like just blocking the actors out and making sure we got the right angle. And I think we used it for a couple posters already. You know,
I thought you were going to say
yeah.
the glasses because I've seen that image.
Oh, I love the glasses too,
Yeah.
and that was I love those too. That was Pascal, the actor who the French actor in our film. They don't really have character names. I'm sorry to say French act, but like they're just people at the table, right? So he had that idea on set, and again, like another great moment on set. It's like you're not like you got to be open to everybody and everybody's thoughts. And he was like, "Why don't we shoot it from underneath?" And I was like, "Great idea." So yeah, that's a great shot. Very cool. Yeah.
Okay, last one. You can time travel back to any film set in history. Which one are you sneaking onto?
I would probably say Kubrick's Barry Lyndon because of all the way that they shot with the NASA lenses and it's all natural lighting and the way that I still can't comprehend how he was able to take some of those candlelight shots in that film. It's gorgeous, and I'd love to see how they did that. You know,
Well, Anthony, this has been great fun. I
yeah.
can't wait to meet you in person.
Oh,
And
I'm so too. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I'm yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping.
not at
Yeah,
all. But
yeah.
tell our viewers how they can follow Gus and your journey.
Well, on Instagram, I guess I'm still I'm a novice with social media, but there's at Sleeping with Gus, and I'm at Antony.Raymond, no H in my first name. I'm gonna just post everything on that, and probably our next projects as well.
Awesome. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Richmond Film Network podcast. Thanks to our guest and to you, our listeners, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share. Tune in next week to see who's on the RFN pod. Until then, keep the cameras rolling.